Back in 1981, a successful businessman named Eugene Lang was asked to give the commencement graduation address to a group of 61 sixth graders who were graduating from their school. And he wanted to step in front of this group, and he didn't want to say the normal, well, just work hard, keep your nose clean, kind of advice they'd probably heard a million times. He decided to do something a little bit different. He stood in front of these 61 young men and women, and he promised to pay for their college education. All they had to do was get there. And he would keep them going. He would pay for their entire college education. Now, this was in East Harlem, and in this particular school, if you went back a number of years, less than 10% of the kids had ever gone on to college or even graduated from high school. And so he wanted to change things. He made them that wonderful promise. And so years later, then these kids were seniors in high school. They were still all seniors in high school. Not a single one had dropped out. In fact, many of them were near the top of their class. All 61 of them ended up graduating. 58 of them decided to go on to college, and Eugene Lang paid for every last penny that it took to get them there. It's what we saw there is an illustration of the power of knowing that something is going to be worth it. And God gives you kind of a similar thought to carry with you through life. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, it's known as the Great Resurrection chapter. The Apostle Paul spends a lot of time assuring you that heaven is your home, and that not sin or Satan or anything in all creation can keep you away from it. And then he ends the chapter with this very, very wonderful promise that we get to carry in our hearts every step until we get there. He says, "Stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." In other words, you know that your work for the Lord, whatever it is going to be worth it. And how was he able to make that promise? Well, like Eugene Lang paying for college, it cost something. I don't know how much money he had to spend in order for all of those children to attend college, but when you walk into the streets of gold in heaven, God will have paid so much more. It will be because he was willing to have the life of his only son come to an end. It cost him tears, it cost him pain, it cost Jesus a lot of ripped skin and the weight of your sins, but it cost you nothing. In other words, every morning as you roll out of bed, you get to know one thing, that it's going to be worth it. Your future is certain. And when you remember that every day of your life, when you remember that God's greatest plan was simply to find a way to be with you forever and walk with you every step of the way, then you really are ready for anything this world might bring.